Alright, it has been a minute. So, I kind of have been shown little bits and pieces of this game that we've been working on, but I kind of wanted to go over it and a little bit of kind of where it started, where it's gone to, growth and things like that. So you guys might have seen this in a couple different iterations. It started out as more of a like a dinosaur survival game, which is kind of akin to like the Isle, Beast of Bermuda, Path of Titans, something like that. But we kind of wanted to expand a bit beyond the genre, and we wanted to add kind of like a more almost MMO-esque type elements and some other things. So some people kind of in my per se inner group who've been in like the discords I've been in are aware that about a year ago I had created a game, a little browser-based game. It's a very, very simple browser-based game where you could go around catching creatures, like, like a creature catching kind of knockoff game. And I had made that. I was really wanting to make something along those lines, and then I had started this kind of like what I call a mini MO. So it's not a full-scale MMO, but a mini MO. It has a lot of the kind of elements of an MMO, but obviously more within a scope that we can work with and a little more, smaller, more manageable per se. And this was called Fairy Tale. I started Fairy Tale a while back, and the idea was that you could play one of various creatures that were called icons, and these icons each represented something of some sort. It could be anything from emotions like anger, sorrow, happiness, whatever. It could be something like that that they represented. They would kind of visually represent it. Their abilities would kind of revolve around and things like that. Or it would be an element like fire, earth, wind, water, darkness, light, whatever, all kinds of things, right? They're called icons because they are an icon of something. The texture pools here are kind of... Don't worry about this. Anyways. This is just a test thing, and I need to clean that up. So, the idea was something like that. And at the time, we were still working on... Well, at the time, I think it was called the Tartarus Project. It's gone through, like, 3 different names. We had a little, I think, like, kind of too many roosters in the hen house, and it just kind of started showing, right? It was kind of everywhere, and I was mostly just doing a lot of the programming. I was kind of not really going ham as far as the actual game design go. And if anybody knows anything about me, that's where my formal schooling is. That's what I went to school for. That's what my degree's in. It's in game design specifically, formally. Programming is just something I learned to do off to the side for the most part over the course of 20-some years. But, so the creatures that I was making for the initial, and I'll show you some of the concepts here. The creatures I was making initially for Icon, this is one of them. This was called the Diogon. And later I think we were going to go Diogon or Geogon because he's a gem dragon kind of creature. And his element was, gems, precious stones. So I wanted to go with a sort of dragon-like creature look. This is his evolved form. So I had made these designs, kind of in the midst of all that, and Icon was being, or not Icon, but Tartarus Project at the time was being reconsidered and some other things, whatever was happening, and I was making these, and people were like, hey, you know what, these are super cool, what if we made these the playables in the Tartarus Project? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I could come up with all sorts of stuff, so I did. And and we were like, you know what? I was a huge Pokemon fan, so were the other people in the team, and just monster catching games and stuff like that. I had already had a browser game at that time that I had made that was like this. It was just a simple 2D browser game. And I was also working on Fairy Tale, and so what happened was we sort of ended up making a hybridization of that browser game, Project Tartarus as it was, as with the playable creatures with skill kits and stuff, and and this. So Fairy Tale was kind of the initial design there, and then mixing the browser game and Project Harders kind of came into this. And there were other people in the team at the time who wanted to have something. I think it was more like, what's it called, Pokemon Dungeons or something. I haven't played it myself, but I understand you can also play creatures in that. But in a sense, this was something that was kind of conceived by mostly those three elements. And so I created these creature types. I created the designs for the concepts. I modeled them myself. We had some people kind of come up with their own ideas of the concepts, but I kind of wanted to keep with my original designs. And I'm always cautious of using other people's work, especially if they're not like in the project at the time or what have you. So I went with these are my own models. I made them myself. The design is from my concepts, obviously, and stuff like that. And the animations, we're working on replacing them. These are just temporary placeholders, but some of them are my original animations, some of them aren't, and I'm just going to work them through like that. So the combat system is completely custom. That was made by my partner, actually, who is a game developer himself. He made a TTRPG he's been working on for over a decade. He's extremely skilled and experienced in making combat formulas and all kinds of stuff. So he made that. Him and a friend of mine who is on the team were making all the stuff and stats that we wanted for the characters. They came up with, you know, what kind of stats were important, what their stat blocks were, how all that worked. We came up with a whole plan for a breeding system that is very custom, so that you can breed for certain traits, rarities, all kinds of, you know, skins, all kinds of really cool attributes that you could basically breed for along this gene line. And then we're also using a grid-based leveling sort of system thing. So you can level in the game, and as you level up, you will grow. Like, you will actually physically grow. As you can see, I'm pretty tiny. I'm only level 1. This guy over here is quite a bit bigger than me because he's full grown. So as you level, you will get bigger. And on top of that, you will hit evolutionary stages, right? So it's kind of common for just monster catching games, you know, but we really wanted to play with that. And again, this is largely based off of my design work that I did for Fairy Tale. For the little dragon guy, so it showed you that kind of, it has evolutionary stages, so that's where that came from. But, yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. Once you hit a certain level, like I think for these guys, the Hydronics, this is made, I based him off of a Baryonyx, which is one of my favorite dinosaurs. But he evolves into his second stage at, I think, like level 15 or so. And then their whole shape and form changes. Like, I mean, they have a complete evolutionary cycle. And then there's also their third form that they'll get. And maybe we might make something since then. We're also having a custom, so kind of like a diet system, but not really. It's a little more interesting. It's almost like a crafting system, where you can collect items, which will be stored in your inventory here. You can collect items, and it's all kind of food-based items for now, like food, eggs. If a creature is killed, they have a chance of dropping food, like meat. They also have a chance of dropping an egg. And you can collect berries and all kinds of stuff around the world and various food items. And if you eat certain items in a certain order, it will grant you certain buffs. So it's kind of like a cooking system almost, but it's obviously fitting for, you know, these animals, these creatures. And then so the egg system is super cool, and I'm pretty proud of that because I came up with that by myself. Which is whenever a creature dies, specifically the AI, not necessarily player characters, we are going to have PvP flagging. It is possible to PvP or have servers that are PvP specific. But when an AI dies, it will have a chance of dropping loot, so meat or whatever, and it has a certain chance of dropping an egg. The egg, once you get it, you can either keep it in your inventory and eat it with other items or food or whatever the heck, or you can hatch that egg into a new playable. So you have 3 starters you can pick from, but once you pick your starter, that's what you get. You get that one starter, and then if you want to play other creatures, you have to go out, find them, battle them as the creature you are, conquer them, and get their egg. Once you unlock that egg, you've unlocked that creature as a playable. So it gives you a lot of replayability. There's a lot of reason to go out and explore the world, to go fight things, and do all of that. So we're super excited about it. It's very interesting. We already have an awesome custom home built networking system. This is on a live server right now. Really fantastic. It's got great authorization. It's got tokenization like EOS or Steam, and it's fully compatible with those. We're also going to have moddable servers, which we already have the setup for modding. We've already got all of that stuff. We're going to be renting them out. It's going to be awesome. So this is just kind of the rough of it. Sorry for all of the little choppy bits, because when I leave the window, it kind of murders itself. And that's just a UE thing, because I'm playing in the editor right now. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Oh, he killed me. He one-shot me. I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, I'm stoked for it. I'm really excited. I think you guys will be too. I think it's awesome. Join our Discord if you want to get involved. If you're interested, come hang out. And let us know what you think, if you have ideas or whatever. Alright? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.